From day one of the things that I find is most beneficial for myself and for the students is to post the rules in the classroom and review them. I model from day one what the rule looks like and what it doesn't look like for the students to copy.
What I tend to do is I set my parameters immediately. I want to meet the kids on their own terms, and like we did earlier, I met them in the hallway and we meet each other, we learn a little bit about each other, and we establish a trust. And then I go over my rules and my procedures for the year and tell them what's expected of them.
What we want to do from day one to establish our classroom management is make sure that we talk to our students about the rules in the classroom, the expectations in terms of academics, and that we are clear with the routine for our students. That would help us with the classroom management in terms of day in, day out with routines.
Classroom management looks like?
Great classroom management looks like a classroom of engaged students that are organized. I really firmly believe that an organized classroom is one that students benefit the most from. I also have students focus on the objective for the day, which is always posted on the board.
Great classroom management happens when all the kids are on task. It doesn't have to be quiet. Good classroom management doesn't mean kids are sitting in a desk and the teacher is standing and delivering. Good classroom management is when all kids have a goal, a learning objective that they want to fulfill, and they are working to do that on their own.
Great classroom management looks different in every classroom, but particularly in my classroom and at this grade level, I find that students that are well managed in a classroom are engaged, on task, and often know what to expect next. If they know what to expect, they will know how to behave. I find that throughout the year, making sure that students are excited about our incentives and are also part of the classroom management process.
Great classroom management looks like routine and organization. For one, I could say that I try to prepare myself throughout the weekends. I know it's part of what I tend to do in terms of organizing my class for the week. I make sure that during the first days of the week I have all of my copies, and make sure that I arrive to school early in the morning so that I can organize my day, plan my day, and know exactly what I am supposed to deliver that day for my students. I believe that helps in terms of classroom management and in the situation where the students would also understand and learn how prepared you are for the day. And that's a good way to start your day. In addition to that, you're also portraying to your students organization, which is one of the requirements for classroom management.
Throughout the year, classroom management techniques will change and alter depending on the time of year, what our focus is on academically, but also I am constantly seeking for student feedback. So if a student feels as though they could do better if this incentive or this incentive was given to them, I try to accommodate that. At different times of the year when we are working really, really hard, it's important to include something where they will feel most engaged. Some of the tricks of the trade that I use are an incentive system based in student groups. So the students are rewarded based on their learning groups. I also reward students on an individual basis where they move their clips up and down on a color chart, and every color signifies their behavior for the day. I reward them based on different occupations that they hold here in our classroom, such as line leader and door holder, and through that they receive money which they can then use once a month in a classroom store.
Knowing the kids is one of the best things. The more you know about a kid, the easier it is to redirect. When I redirect a kid, I like to do it on a personal level, not an oppressive level or an offensive level, but just if I know something about them, I can get them back on task. So if they're on the football team, I can say, hey, would you rather be using your cell phone in my class or doing push-ups? And so we take it back to football or whatever it is that they do. So I try to know my kids as best as I can.
For tricks of the trade, what I like to do with my students is, you try to give them a warning the first time. If behavior tends to continue, you want to adhere to the the discipline plan. In terms of turnaround, what I'd like to do is reward the students either with minimizing the assignments, postponing the assignment, or even at times rewarding with a homework pass. I think that the students, once they see that there's an exchange or a trade-off behavior, they will adhere to that, and they will understand, hey, if I do well, I'll get rewarded. If I don't do well, then there's going to be some consequences.
I don't. That never happens. Good classroom management means that you are prepared, you plan 2, 3, 4 days in advance, you always have something for them to do. There's always either remediation or reinforcement that can happen. So that never happens. It should never happen if you want strong classroom management.
Typically, I don't have the situation of 10 minutes left during my classes because I tend to overplan for my students. It's something that you would be able to see in a lesson plan. It's a matter of dedicating some time to your lesson plan so that you know exactly step by step what you're going to be doing with them. In terms of overplanning, I like to overplan because it allows me the flexibility of having more things to present to my students in case where I finish sooner than later with my some periods or other ones. But the tendency is to overplan to ensure that we have enough material. If I tend to run short, what I'd like to do is carry on for the next day plans and starting, even if it's just introducing the next day topic.
A self-reflective teacher needs to reassess when the kids aren't responding to your procedures and your policies. Then there's a problem either with the instruction or with the teacher's procedures or with the student themselves. So you have to be a reflective teacher, and you have to, get with other teachers who are strong and figure out what it is that may be going wrong.
Okay, I know if my management plan needs to be modified when the students are off task, they're not working eagerly on what I've required them to work. So what I tend to do is either try to redirect the student to ensure that they're back on track with the assignment, or I try to modify the lesson plan to ensure that they get engaged in a way.